Greetings to you at home. Thank you for joining us once again for another brilliant showcase of the great achievements of our women in sport. And specifically in this month, it is our final Women's Month edition of the Ladies Club. My name is Vaylen, and it's so good to be with you today.
Absolutely, Vaylen. Nalbiso la ka ke Lebo Motsoeli me re le amohelana ne o la rena le ratega la mafumahadi e leng lona he the Ladies Club. Mo re tsolang pele ka o phamisa seriti sa Afrika Borwa mo se ha re bua ka mafumahadi a rona. Let us now blaze the trail and improve the standards in women's sport, inspiring the next generation. Mo e motle ska le balang hore o ka kopana le rona hape on all our social media platforms, mo re mo Twitter, re mo Facebook, at the Ladies Club, at Sport at SABC, at Vaylen, Kirtley, Mohale, at Lebo Motsoeli.
So easy, hashtag the Ladies Club, and that's all you got to do on all social media. On the show today, we're going to zoom in and chat about women who are making strides when it comes to coaching.
Yes.
And Lebo's got a little something that we're going to be telling you about later when it comes to coaching. I know, but okay. I'm getting ahead of myself. As you know, coaching roles are still largely dominated by men.
And while female participation rates in sports are on the rise, the same really cannot be said for female representation in coaching. And DUMISANI CHAUKE will be joining us to unpack some of these issues, as we also will be profiling Matsoeli, who is our trailblazer.
She certainly is, and I look forward to that. So this is where I was saying I was getting ahead of myself.
Yes.
Congratulations
Thank you
to
very
our
much.
award-winning South African television presenter, Lebo Motsoeli, because you know why? She completed her SAFA license deed
Yes.
about a couple of weeks ago
Yes,
now.
I did.
You're the second woman after Simpiwe Dludlu to actually have this qualification. So
Yeah.
now you've added onto your list of roles and caps that you wear
Absolutely.
a coach.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it's weird. It's surreal. It's still surreal. It was very tough. Only 6 women got out of that one alive, so to speak, out of a group of over 50 male coaches. So it's really great, and I'm really honored, Vaylen, really am.
Okay, so what's your team called? Who are you coaching?
You know what? I want to look after the Babas, man. Like under 6 girls. Can you imagine under 6 girls? That's my target. Under 6 and
Twinkle
under
toes.
8. Yes, under 6 and
Twinkle
under
toes
8.
FC.
For now.
That's absolutely brilliant. So it's so wonderful that we've got one of our own getting involved in coaching, and that's something we're going to be speaking a lot about. Now, in sports, it's important to cultivate a winning mentality, and when you look at today's quote, it teaches us more about perseverance.
A champion keeps playing until they get it right. Mental toughness is an important factor for success in endurance sport. A strong mind and character is the making of a true athlete. Mental toughness is an important factor for success in endurance sport. I mean, it's really incredible, some of those words said by Billie Jean, and what a phenomenal career she's had, the impact that she's had in sport, in women in sport overall.
Yeah, so it's not only what she was able to do actually on the tennis court, where she won 39 Grand Slam titles, 12 of those actually being singles crowns. She was ranked #1 in the world 5 different times between 1966 and 1974, and was the first female sportswoman. Now, this is female sportswoman out of all sports to earn more than $100,000 in a single season, and that's absolutely incredible.
That's really incredible. And what is remembered most about her, Vaylen, is that she's very humbled. Remember when she was up against Bobby Riggs in the Battle of the Sexes way back then, and she was only 29. She came out tops on the day, winning 6-4, 6-3, 6-3, and she is now a crusader for social justice and women's equality in sport.
Yes, and that's what we want. We want to see equality not only on the sports field, but also when it comes to gender pay.
Game changer ya rona ya ka jene e leng DUMISANI CHAUKE. Duna le rona mona mo kanaleng ya rona ya bobedi.
Welcome Welcome back. Thank you so much for staying with the Ladies Club. Please join us on social media, on Facebook as well as Twitter. You can even email us if you'd like to. It's so easy. Just use our hashtag the Ladies Club. Obviously not if you're going to email. Please email sports@SABC. But let's actually tell you about what we're speaking about today, and that's specifically women getting involved in coaching.
Absolutely. It's one of those Paula's star is on the rise again, but this time around it's a different kind of star. She's a coach after a memorable hockey career, which included an Olympic appearances in Athens. Paula is now charting her way as an international hockey coach. Really impressive.
And I even saw on social media, she also tried her first stint at commentating.
She's a commentator as well, yeah.
So that's for the Premier Hockey League is Tsolo Paula. Why we're featuring her is because she recently was appointed as the South African girls hockey coach for the African Youth Games. Paula has earned her FIH Level 4 hockey coaching accreditation in the Netherlands, and her ambition is to win an Olympic gold medal as a coach. It looks to be positive work in progress.
Absolutely. Now, a game changer today, Vaylen, is former SA netball player DUMISANI CHAUKE, who turned to coaching back in 2013. And in 2015, she was Gauteng Jaguars assistant coach, but now sits on the national under-21 coaching bench.
Woohoo! DUMISANI CHAUKE!
Welcome!
Welcome onto the Ladies Club. Thank you so much for chatting to us.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's really great to have you in the studio. You're tall.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's called growing up.
Yeah, true.
DUMISANI, tell us how you got involved in the sport, other than people looking at you and saying, you know what, you're so tall, you need to be on a netball court.
Yeah, well, I think that's exactly how it worked out. So one day when I was still back in Malamulele, I was playing the normal sports. Well, not the normal girly sports. So I had your volleyball, your football, your basketball, a bit of softball there. And one day the coach was like, okay, so listen, we're playing against a very tough school today and we one player short. All you need to do is just stand in that semicircle.
Wow.
You wait, arms out straight, and we will pass the ball to you. You turn and shoot. You're not allowed to, you're not allowed to bounce it, you're not allowed to run with it like you do in basketball, so just do that. I was like, okay, sounds easy enough.
You can do that.
So I did it, and needless to say, that was the beginning of my love-hate relationship with netball, and I haven't looked back since then. I was like, I think I was still about 9, 10 years old at that time.
Wow.
Yeah, I was just the tallest kid in class, actually, no, in the school.
Wow.
Yeah, so...
In the school?
Yeah,
was it
in
a
the school.
co-ed school?
It was a co-ed school, so some of the boys, I literally looked down on them. So they didn't like it, not my fault.
And why is it a love-hate relationship with netball?
It's a love-hate relationship with netball because I've always wanted to go back to my first love, which was basketball, but I really couldn't because of all the opportunities that I kept getting through netball. And although I still go back to basketball now and then, netball has really, been what I do. Literally, it's my life.
Sure.
Our new netball president, Cecilia, she's also from Limpopo. She's from the same province as you. So what's happening with netball in Limpopo?
Well, funny enough, she was my coach in high school.
Wow.
When I was out at Capricorn, she was my coach. We also had a very tough, special relationship, but we're more special now because, we've all grown up and, we understand each other's roles in both our lives, She also helped shape me into the kind of leader that I am today, the kind of coach that I am today, because I looked up to her. She was also a former player and turned coach and now president. So, netball in Limpopo is just growing, We've got some players that are coming from there that move off to other provinces like myself. The likes of Lenise Potgieter, she's from Limpopo. We've got your Romedrea, now playing in the Proteas as well. We've got a couple of girls coming from Limpopo. Kanyisa Chawan is one of them as well. Yeah.
All right, let's talk about some of the highlights before we move to the transition that you made into coaching, and you've become a great coach. But the highlights of your career in terms of netball, you've had a long career, and it's been really a successful one at that as well.
Yeah, one moment I always go back to is when I was still in high school. I was 15 years old. I was selected for the first time to play for South Africa under 16. That was my first time out of the country. We went to Mozambique and we won gold.
Wow.
So just that moment, I still remember it like it was yesterday, singing Nkosi Sikelelo for the first time and meaning it. That moment will never, ever go away.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Sure.
And then making the transition into actually becoming a coach and what that's managed to give you, because you were a player coach for a little while down in Port Elizabeth.
Yeah, well, I started coaching when I was still a student, just to earn a bit of pocket money. And that's when I was like, you know what, actually we can make a laugh out of this thing, you know. At some point you're going to have to stop playing, then what are you going to do after that? And that's when the coaching part came in, and I was like, okay, so from coaching primary schools, I moved on to coach high schools. I then moved on to coach at Nelson Mandela University, and that's when I got my, you know, I got accredited in terms of my SA Level 1, moving on to my SA Level 2, becoming a player coach, and in 2014 I stopped playing for NMU. I was then coaching them at Varsity Cup, and actually I retired 2015. I retired 2015, and then the following year, 2016, that's when I was appointed assistant coach for South Africa 21 and assistant coach for the Gauteng Jaguars when I then moved to Gauteng from the Eastern Cape.
Did that appointment of being an assistant under 21 come as a surprise?
It was a huge surprise. I mean, I just finished playing. I was literally fresh off the court, and I got the call. I'm like,
no.
Are you sure? Do you have the wrong code? Do you have the wrong DUMISANI? Are you sure? Do you have the right number? And they're like, yeah, you know, we've seen your talent. We've seen how passionate you are about the sport and the work that you've been doing. So we think you'll do great with the under 21s. And we went to World Cup. So I've literally grown very fast, very quickly. Yeah.
A little bit like your introduction into netball to begin with. Just stand in that semicircle, just put up your hands, and don't worry, everything is going to fall into place,
and
you know?
And it
did. And it did. Yeah.
Well, it's that special part of the show. We're going to put pause on that now because we're going to talk about somebody else now. We're going to zoom into a lady who has blazed the trail in the sports world. Today's trailblazer is Manzo Choke.
Absolutely. For those of you who keenly follow netball, you'll absolutely remember the former Proteas goal poacher. She had a netball career spanning over a decade and accumulated 109 caps for the Proteas.
Growing up in Soweto, Manzo received a national call-up in 1994 and went on to cement her place in the team, playing in 3 World Championships and 4 Commonwealth Games.
Oh, absolutely. Now, we're off for a quick break soon, but we definitely want to delve more into what our game changer thinks of our trailblazer. That all will follow right after this.
Welcome back. You're watching the Ladies Club. Thanks so much for staying with us. So easy on social media at Sports at SABC, at Vaylen, Kirtley, at Lebo, Motsoeli, hashtag the Ladies Club. So what we've been doing this week is highlighting some women. We've done it with Paula, we've done it with our very own Lebo Motsoeli, and I want to focus in on a young girl that is going to go places in the future. 11-year-old Abriella Bradell from Jeffreys Bay is the youngest person to have swum the Robben Island Channel in January 2018 to raise funds for actually one of my favorite charities and a place that I went to when I was a youngster, the Red Cross Children's Hospital.
That's actually incredible.
Yeah.
11.
Just 11. And you know how far that is from mainland to Robben Island. And in that cold water where there are sharks. Yes,
11.
An 11-year-old from Jeffreys Bay with an absolutely incredible mind who's so determined. And those are the kinds of people that we want to highlight. And we do highlight here on the Ladies Club.
Absolutely. You can imagine what an incredible swimmer she will make as a South African swimmer in years to come. Looking forward to talent from her. But still with us, Renale game changer ya rona ke DUMISANI CHAUKE he a ileng a bapala papadi ya netball hona jwale ke coach o tsebahala hola re bua ka papadi ena empa pele re ya papatso re la ra bua ka trailblazer ya rona re bua ka Manzo. In terms of Manzo, and we highlighted the great work she's done, what are your thoughts having witnessed her as well as a player?
Well, she was one of those players I used to sit back at home when I was still in Malamulele. I used to watch. You guys had a show, Sesfikile.
Yeah.
Yep. That's where
wow, that's a long time ago.
Way back. Yeah, so I used to watch that show. I used to watch the former Protea players playing there. And, you know, I always thought to myself, wow, she's got long arms.
Yeah.
Wow, she's so tall, you know. And then when I met her, she's actually very humble. Manzo is so humble, so soft-spoken. You know, she still have those long arms and those long fingers that she used to just, you know, they would throw that ball so high, you think it's going out. She'll just spaghetti arms out and pull it right back. And she had this signature move of going out with the one arm and coming back, and she was so accurate. So I used to watch her when I was a kid.
Wow.
How important are those role models when you're actually growing up? You yourself have got a foundation, the DUMISANI CHAUKE Foundation, so you are inspiring young girls, bringing them into clinics at various times. How important is that?
It's not important, it's vital. Our kids, our girls, they need positive role models to look up to. I mean, currently, the only role models that they're looking up to is the ones on social media, and all they're doing is flossing.
True.
And I don't think that is what we need our girls to be doing. Myself, as a netball, or former netball player, now turned coach, I've just taken it upon myself, you know what, it's my responsibility to inspire, empower those coming after me, because if we are wanting to see a change, we have to create that change. We have to be that change. We can't be talking about it if we're not doing it, you know. So it's very important. I mean, for myself, when I was still back then in that small township of Malamulele, all I had was the television. And lucky for me, I watched SABC, and back then we used to also have the NBA playing on Saturdays on SABC. So those two sports I would watch, and one day, you know, I'll tell myself one day that's going to be me.
Let's talk about the state of netball in the country at the moment. Yes, we've had a semi-professional league. We've had the Brutal Fruit as a sponsor coming on board. What is your thought on that?
We can do so much more. We've got 1 million girls that play this sport. They love it. They would do anything to play it. We just need corporate to come on board. You know, the more resources that we can get, the more people we can reach. Maybe think of expanding the league, you know, from just 10 teams, maybe make it 12, 14 or 16. You give more girls opportunity to play, more girls in high school watch us on TV and they're like, maybe I'll make it one day, and that is what they need to look forward to. So the more players, well, the more teams we have on the league will open more doors for more players to, you know, to even be seen, because some of our players have been scouted through the Brutal Fruit Netball Premier League to go play in professional leagues overseas.
And I suppose it would also be great if South Africa won that bid to host the World Cup in 2023.
Yeah, that'll be one of them. You know, that would be great for, you know, for us as a country to showcase what it is that we have in the country, showcase the talent, be it on the sporting field, administration-wise, or you ladies, you know, taking it out there to the world. You know, it's going to be something worthwhile, not just for netball people, for the country as a whole.
Who is DUMISANI off the court?
DUMISANI off the court, oh my word. She is not as talkative as she is out in public.
Whatever.
I promise you. I promise you. Ask my real friends. Those are people that I hang out with at netball and stuff. Those know they allowed me. When I get home, it's me, my son, and the TV, or me and a book, or just me quiet.
What do you love reading then? What do you love reading?
I love reading motivational books, books that make you think, books that force you to be accountable to yourself. Yeah.
And you also like hip-hop music, Tupac and Chris Brown. And you know, I'm listening to this voice. And I'm thinking to myself, besides the fact that I'd be quite scared if she had to shout at me for doing something wrong with that deep baritone, get on the court. Besides that fact, do you sing?
I cannot sing to save my life, no.
So what would be your favorite Chris Brown song?
There's so many.
Come, dude, one. I'm thinking as well.
I'm also trying to think. Crawl. I like Crawl.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I like Please Don't Judge Me. Those two are my favorite. Yeah. And some of the songs when you were still a kid, it was still innocent. I still listen to those. They're so cool.
Oh, wow.
I must say I'm a little bit left out here because Tupac is my favorite of the two artists. If I have to choose between Tupac and Chris Brown, it's certainly Tupac. Let's speak about netball now, because you're looking after our under-19s. You were with our under-21s. You took them to the first ever World Championships that was held on the African continent last year in Botswana. Ended in 6th place, but it was a top-placed African team. Now you're looking after the under-19s. These are really important teams for the future of netball in South Africa. And why are we still unable to get into your gold, silver, or bronze medal positions?
I think we are wanting the results without putting in what it takes for you to get the results.
And what would that be then?
That would be having a professional league, not a semi-pro, a professional league.
Okay.
and also having resources for our players. Because also myself being a black person, we always want to fight about why aren't there enough black people in the team? What are we doing about empowering and getting those black players ready for international stage?
Yeah. I remember having Bongi Msomi on the show and her telling us what a different world it is when you're playing in a country where there is a fully fledged professional league like Australia.
Absolutely, because those players overseas, they play netball from January to December. The only breaks they get is when it's international series, and then they come home for training camps or they go to their different countries. They still playing netball, then they go back. Where our players, they'll play brutal fruit, then there's a break. Then some that are students who play a week of netball, USA, that's it. And then some that will make the provincial teams will go to SHMs, that's a week. After that, those that are students go back to varsity netball. There is no continuous high intensity netball taking place to get our players ready for the competition that they face on an international scale.
So you say right now the only thing to do is to get that league professionalized. Otherwise, the players that we're sending abroad that are playing in professional leagues, it's basically a waste, because when they come back here, they're playing with players that are based in South Africa. Now it's kind of going backwards and forwards.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we make it longer, we make it more teams, make it more competitive. Then we have a league. Then we have a greater pool of players that we can pull from.
The next Netball World Championships for our under-21s is Fiji 2021. And then we also have the Netball World Cup, which is taking place for our Spar Proteas team, our senior team, next year. What is your ultimate goal? Because when I'm seeing the trajectory that Netball South Africa are maybe putting you on, it is to head up our national team. What are your goals, though?
Obviously, every netball coach wants to eventually coach the national team. I'm not putting myself under any unnecessary pressure. When I'm ready for it, it will come. Right now, I'm just focusing on furthering my studies at TUT where I work. So, so I coach, I work, I study.
What are you studying?
I'm furthering my studies in sport management. So I'm doing my BTech. Next year, going to a postgrad, master's, PhD. So no pressure. And
how important is family maintaining all of that?
Very.
How do you then balance it?
When I can travel with my son, I take him with me. Aww. Yeah, when I try not to take him out of school though, but on weekends when I have to travel and do clinics and other events, and I take him with me.
And how old is the Baba?
He is 6 years old. Oh. He's a giant.
Really?
Yeah. I wonder where he gets that.
We wonder.
Yeah, I know.
You know?
He's a little giant.
Really? How tall? Like, how tall is a giant?
Wow. Not that tall. He's 6 years old. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, that's tall.
And does he play basketball when you're busy warming up the girls for netball? Really? He's got a basketball?
He's got a basketball, he's got a rugby ball, he's got a soccer ball.
Super sporty?
Very, because he literally grew up next to the netball court. So he knows all the stretches. I call him my assistant coach. Aww. So he'll always say, Mommy, she's cheating, she's not running. Come girls, run fast. And sometimes we'll run with them, or you'll stretch with them, or you'll pass the ball to them and stuff like that. So the girls at TUT, they really enjoy having him around because they know he will tell. If they don't do something right, he'll tell on them.
And before we let you go, a message to all the women out there that are watching and are continuously inspired by your story.
Well, don't let your big dreams intimidate you. Yeah, one step at a time, one day at a time, it will come to reality.
Sure.
One foot in front of the other, just like how you finish a marathon.
Yeah.
Easy does it.
Baby steps.
DUMISANI, thank you so much for coming onto the Ladies Club. It's been a pleasure having you here. All the best of luck with our under-19 team, and I know that you play assistant role in a number of the other national teams too.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's been a pleasure. The Ladies Club mona kana leng ya bobedi ha re kopana hape bekeng e tla mo go letlisetsang tsohle tsa mafumahadi ba ba sebetsa mona lapeng Afrika Borwa le mose ba tswelang pele ho phamisa seriti sa Afrika Borwa dipapading.
Remember, until we meet again, that greatness is earned and never given. Thanks so much for being with us. We'll do it again next week, same time, same place. Bye-bye.